Welcome folks, this is Wear and Tear, today with another flashlight review video. Today I want to talk about the Nextorch TA15. This was very warmly suggested by me in an outdoor and bushcraft forum. Basically people are saying this is the only real tactical light. Currently it seems to be very popular with the police. And the reason for that is that it has a very unique user interface, a very well thought out user interface. But first of all, a few specs regarding the light. This particular light is basically the smallest light of the TA family of Nextorch, and it's the one that is powered by 14,500 cells in the AA format. These cells. So there's a 14500 lithium ion cell, 750 milliamp, and what makes this one interesting, and that's why I even bought it, because I don't have a particular need of tactical lights. I already have lights with user interfaces that make me happy. But this light is interesting because it can take CR123A batteries, it can take those 14,500 lights, it can take ordinary AA batteries as well, and even AAAs. And the way this works is because it has like a pusher plate inside. Okay, there's a AA cell inside and it has a pusher plate, and it can really take all those different cells and make perfect contact, so you don't need to improvise anything. It's a little bit finicky with the AAA cell, but you can get it to work with a AAA cell. Of course, the maximum output of 600 lumens you will only get with a lithium ion cell, either CR123A or the 14,500. So the way that works is with the user interface is basically the tail switch is only momentary light. Okay, there is no permanent light through the tail switch. That's pretty interesting. If you push all the way through, you have instant strobe. If you only push slightly, you have turbo mode. That's it. The constant on option is with a magnetic ring, the tail ring. So this would be low, medium, high, and then another strobe where you have a permanent strobe. So you could actually turn the light on permanent strobe and have the light somewhere on the roadside and give a signal to oncoming traffic. So that's why they did it that way. So the magnetic ring also serves as a tactical ring. So if you like to work your lights in with a cigar grip, this is very convenient. There is no extra tactical ring needed. And yeah. So momentary on, permanent on, and regardless in which mode you are, here in low mode, you always have turbo and strobe. So like the tail switch overrides everything. So you also have a glass breaker. You have those ceramic balls in the steel ring here on the side. So this is a designated glass breaker. Another clever feature is the belt clip here, because the belt clip, unlike most flashlights, can't come off unless you unscrew the tail cap. So with many small construction details, you can really see this is a well thought out product, and I can totally understand why the police or military is very much into this light. Now, is it also good for the everyday Joe, the everyday users like me? Well, the light is a very concentrated hotspot, right? And it's cold white, which is not my preferred light color. But as you see in the footage that I took, the footage with the beaver, it actually does pretty okay outdoors. The color rendition is not totally terrible. The 600 lumens brightness are very decent. The bigger versions of the light have up to 2000 lumens. But 600 lumens, those are real 600 lumens, is pretty good. So the colors, you can also see the colors of the beautiful fishes. They're not terribly off. So I would say even for outdoor use, this light is pretty okay. Not a perfect solution, but definitely there. What makes the light interesting is that it can pretty much take any battery that you will find, that you will pull out of a crevice anywhere in your vehicle or in a log cabin or so. You know, you will always find batteries to feed this light. So as an emergency and backup light, this light makes perfect sense. Now there are a few negatives about the light as well. First of all, I noticed for some reason it doesn't always come on. And I don't think it's a problem with the light. I think it's a light with this battery that is supplied by Nextorch. I did a measurement of it. It was at 0.0 volt, so that means some kind of protection in the battery kicked in. And I don't know why, because the flashlight was not on. I don't know, was there a power surge? Did it overheat in my pocket? But this light is designed that it really can't come on permanently in your pocket, because the magnetic ring would not turn in your pocket, and this wouldn't stay on constantly unless you have a really tight pocket, which I don't. So I don't know what that is about. My personal opinion is that batteries with integrated charging function, like this micro USB port, they tend to be a little bit finicky. In reality, the charging the charging electronic is susceptible to damage. I've had more than one of those batteries break on me. That's why I stick with conventional batteries. But again, this flashlight takes any kind of battery that you might find, except the 18650 or 18350. So you will always find a way to get this light going. Awesome as a backup and emergency light. Now, the disadvantage is a little bit the size. You know, this is a standard AA 14500 light. Thorfire costs like 16 bucks compared to the 65 bucks here. It's much smaller, has a comparable brightness. This one is even better, Lumintop, also AA or 14500. And this one is also 400 or 500 lumens. So they have pretty much comparable brightness, but they're much smaller. And they're also very versatile when it comes to battery, because you can take alkalines, 1.2 volt rechargeable batteries. You can take a lot of different cells to power these as well, but not as versatile as this one with the pusher plate, of course. Also, bigger reflector, better heat sinking on the larger light. Step up would be the 18650 light, like this excellent Jaxman. Oh, that's a wonderful outdoor light with a triple LED setup that gives you, it's great for a photo. And this is another designated tactical light. And that's where we come a little bit to the meat of the discussion. This is our Armytek. And the Armytek also does with those very prominent tail switches, mechanical tail switch. So very panic proof. So if you have stress situations, you will definitely find the light switch, okay? Just like the way Nextorch does it. Except Armytek has a more ordinary setup with a permanent on the tail switch and a side switch. Armytek also has armored lights, so the electronics the electronics compartment is filled with a resin, so they're very much shock proof, so you can drop them, and they're also extremely water resistant with double O-rings. So the Armyteks are in a league on their own. I had an Armytek Doberman. I gave it away to someone who really wanted it, traded it in, but this is my second Armytek, so 10 meters, water resistant, shock proof. Nextorch is just a standard IPX8 rating, 2 meters submersible, not quite as shock proof. So the difference then really is the user interface. Yeah? I really think this is a very smart user interface with the magnetic ring. But this is not that much worse. With a magnetic ring you have another part that can break. Like if you have that in dirt, or if dirt comes underneath the magnetic ring, or sometimes you carry other magnets and then you have interference on the light. So magnetic ring is awesome, but it does not only come with advantages, but also with some disadvantages. So this would be a more conventional user interface. This is a very advanced user interface. And then we have my Olight. This is my standard night shift flashlight with 21700 cell, so long run times and everything. It's not that much bigger compared to this Nextorch. And this one has a side switch that fully operates the light from a ultra low mode, where you can see the reflex in the eye. You can get a clue whether someone has brain damage or not. Or double click in turbo mode. And then independently you have the tail switch. Low press gives you 300 lumens, full press gives you 1800 lumens, a short tap permanent on, a full short tap and permanent on turbo. So this is, in my opinion, for my night shift tasks, this is the smartest user interface that I've ever found. But of course, if you really carry a sidearm as a police officer, so you might prefer the Nextorch. I mean, there is no doubt a reason why tactical professions perhaps prefer the Nextorch. But for me, as an everyday Joe, non-tactical user, although professional user of flashlights, I prefer the Olight, or I prefer something like the Armytek, even because it's so robust, and any other light with a tail switch. Having a tail switch is very important, and having a good tail switch with a solid feedback is very important. I rarely ever bother with lights with only your electronic side switch. They come with many disadvantages, although on some of the bigger lights it's okay, because when you turn on a bigger light, then you need that light permanently, or that light source permanently anyways. Now this Nextorch light, the TA15 in particular, is a very unique light as an emergency and backup light, because it can't take so many batteries, so it might be interesting for pretty much everyone who is in need of a light source or a flashlight in the car, or just that backup light that you'll always find batteries in any store in any corner of the world. If you do a bicycle tour, or a tour with your motorbike, and you're somewhere in the desert, well, might not even find a charging solution. Your solar power bank might not work because there is little sunlight, but you'll always find some crappy alkalines, and you can feed this light with those alkalines. You'll always have some kind of energy source with this light. This makes it really interesting for everyone. The user interface in itself is nice. It's definitely nice for self-defense and tactical applications, and it's not terrible for everyday use either with the magnetic tail ring. But as a civilian user, I wouldn't spend extra money to get this particular clever user interface. A normal user interface with a good tail switch will do just as good. Now this was wear and tear. I hope you enjoyed my little video, my little review. I hope you found it informative, a little bit flashlight science. And this was wear and tear, over and out.